Welcome to the David Friday. My name is Michael Olschimke. I'm the CEO of Scalefree. This session here we do every week, every Friday at 11 o'clock Central European Standard Time. All questions are allowed. So you can ask questions about data vault, big data, cloud technologies, anything that fits roughly into this area. You can use the chat here if you have a live question. Just use the chat. You can use the Q&A section here. Just raise your hand if you want to have voice. And you can use a form which I show you after today's session. I show you the link to the URL where you can type in your question essentially as well, and that allows us that allows us essentially to prepare a short slide with your questions actually to show it in front of the audience. If you receive multiple questions, we would essentially cherry pick the questions to fit them into some topic, typically some theme, and it's time boxed. So we're looking at 10-15 minutes roughly for the answer essentially. And if there will be no questions at all, I will talk about the cluster, but yeah, we did it once at least. All right. So we received a question here from one customer. Let me just show it to you. It's all about ghost records. The question here is that so in satellites we have ghost records. Typically, the major reason why we have ghost records in satellites is because of the PID table to ensure an inner join by the PID table essentially. Inner join is equi-join condition. Now that's the major reason why we have the ghost record in there. And the ghost record, there's one ghost record in a satellite, has a hash key of all zeros and has some descriptive fields because it's just a delta, right? So it might have a first name, last name, and so on. And the question here refers to those descriptive fields in the ghost record. Should they be null or non-null values? And if non-null values, let me extend this question a bit. What kind of values should we use? Now, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. What I would do is I would create a ghost record having those descriptive attributes that you want to have in your default member in your dimension. Let's say the unknown member, something like that, typically the unknown member in your dimension. What are the descriptive attributes describing the unknown member? So typically it is something like minuses or question marks, maybe unknown first name or unknown person, unknown customer kind of stuff. Some descriptive fields describing the unknown member. That's what I would do because as a side effect, the ghost record with the zero key in the hub will be turned into a member in a dimension as a side effect. That becomes your unknown member essentially. So that drives the answer here. You could have null values in there, but I would say it's rather untypical. I know it's in the book to some extent, I think, but we would typically use question marks or minuses or some more descriptive data. But the thing is, if it's, let's say, some pattern, you can also query or filter for it. So I would just use minuses and question marks, that kind of stuff. If you want to filter, I would use the hash value of the ghost record because it's all zeros, right? That's the clear case. Yeah, but typically null values is not being used. It's more the descriptive data minus its question marks. The same applies for integer values. We don't use null values. We use zeros, for example. Some default value. Again, the one that we want to see in the unknown member. You could also have multiple ghost records in the satellite. I mean, one is being used for the PID table to fill the gaps in your timeline, right? To ensure the inner join is equi-join condition. But then when you look at the hub, there's two zero keys in there. One for the case when a foreign key points to a null value that is allowed. That is typically using the hash key of all zeros that matches your ghost record in the satellite, right? So that becomes your unknown member. And then there is a error case in the hub, another zero key where the hash key is typically all Fs. Well, this becomes also a member in a dimension. That's for sure, because the dimension is built from all the business keys in the hub, well, from all the entries in the hub for real, right? So the second case, the second zero key, will also turn into a dimension member. But what is the description? Well, the PID table will resolve that for you. If you have no delta in the satellite, the PID table will essentially fill the gap with the ghost record. So even the erroneous case where the hash key is all Fs in the hub will join with the ghost record in the satellite. With the default attributes for the unknown member, but that becomes your erroneous member. Now, if you want to have different descriptive data, different descriptive attributes for the awareness member, maybe awareness customer, that kind of stuff. In this case, you could have 2 ghost records in the satellite describing the awareness case. The second ghost record would have a hash key of all Fs to match the 0 key, essentially. That's the idea. So that would work as well. Yeah, that's what it all turns into essentially the default members. And if you don't want to see those default members, you have to filter them out based on the hash key typically. So we filter them out on the hash key from the dimension if you don't want to see them. That's up to you and your information requirements essentially. Yeah, that's essentially a side effect of the ghost record, but it's a desired one. So it's how we manage the unknown members, awareness members in a dimension essentially. And that's the answer for the null values, for the descriptive fields. I don't know what you want to do. We don't typically use null values. We use minuses, question marks, that kind of stuff. Sometimes some customers use more longer names. Internally, we use not only just minus, we use minus in brackets or question marks in brackets, just have a bit clearer pattern. Yeah, that's what we do essentially. To see if you hit the ghost record or the unknown member, you use the hash key. That's a clear case. It's all zeros, all Fs done, right? So you don't have to rely on some descriptive fields, which you might also have for some customers, right? That's a problem. So yeah, so that's the answer here for this question. If you have a question like this, you can use this form here, https://sfr.ee/Friday, to type in your question, upload some attachments, pictures of a whiteboard, maybe pictures of your team, everything you upload here. I might present. I'm not saying I'm going to present, right? I might present. Yeah, looking forward for your question. Yeah, thanks for joining today. Hope to see you next Friday and wish you a nice weekend. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining today. If you'd like to discuss this further, give us a call on the number below here, and we're happy to discuss this with you. See you next time. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.